Hi, Ed.
Hey, how are you, Councilman?
Good. I know you were here.
It is 7 o'clock and it is time for the council meeting, so I can ask the council people to come back to their chairs and everybody please be quiet.
I love the smell. That's just don't drink that
I didn't
smell
see
good.
her. I wish you guys felt that about cigars. To my bag here.
Okay, if we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There is no reverend here right now, so I will just ask that a moment of silence. Thank you. Yeah, could we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Councilpersons Bear,
Here.
Dupre, is not here. Ross.
Here.
Salcido.
Here.
Zor.
Here.
Tobin.
Here.
And Mayor Higgins.
Did you
Here.
Yes.
Okay.
Got a few dates, so everybody get your calendars out, and we're going to talk real quick. First date up is tomorrow. It's the Battle of the Badges. It is a blood drive at the band shell, 3240 Ferris. The blood bank is really low, and we need all the blood we can get, so please come out and give. Second date will be this Saturday, right there at Fort Park in Southfield at the Historical Museum. Will be the memorial bell ringing at noon. It is always something special, and as I've always said, anytime I mention the Historical Museum, I say it is a true gem of the city. Take your time, go see what the museum is about. Then, of course, the third thing I want to announce is this Sunday is the Memorial Day Parade. It will start at Fort and Southfield and go on to the band shell, already mentioned at 3240 Ferris. It's going to be a spectacular parade this year. We have a lot of new things coming this year. It's going to be great. Then there's some concerns I'd like to go over real quickly. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Skate Company. They did a spectacular job at their annual skate show. I was here. I had a personal issue I had to deal with, so I couldn't make it on Sunday. But everything told me that they were absolutely great, and I want to congratulate them on another great year. Some big things are happening in the city. Going to kind of point it out. The Sears building is coming down. They have begun tearing down the auto section, and right after that, then they will start tearing down the rest, and the water tower will come down too. A little tidbit, at one point, that was the largest store of that type in the world. So it was true history, and but it's good sometimes to turn the page and move on to the next thing. And history's happening right now in Lincoln Park. I wanted to point out there are some trees being taken down at Council Point Park, and I've gotten several calls about it. What people don't understand or don't realize is that the creek, the Ecorse Creek, is actually a watershed for the cities. And we need that water to flow. And that is part of cleaning up the creek. Not only will the trees are going to be taken down, there is going to be some planting afterwards so that we will get some native stuff growing back there. But this is something that is needed to be done for a long time, that the creek has been overgrown, And this is a multi-million-dollar project to help flooding, not only in Lincoln Park, but all the way down to Dearborn Heights. The water needs to be able to flow. When the cities have to drop water, that's where it goes. Right now, water's not going anywhere because it needs to be cleaned. This is a big project, and yes, it's going to be, looking a little different now because we're not going to have as many trees, but in the long range, this is something that's going to be good for all of downriver. I also want everybody to know, and we've said it already here on the council floor, but we're going to say it again because GFL has caused a lot of problems. We understand, we're getting the calls. We are doing something about it. We have gone out for bid for a new rubbish company. So please just hold on. Help is on its way. That's all I can say about that. And with that, we will move on to the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. I have one more thing. We have a proclamation that I've asked the city clerk to read for me.
Whereas the Rotary Club of Lincoln Park is an organization of business and professional leaders who provide humanitarian service, encourage high ethical standards in all vocations, and help build goodwill and peace in the world. And whereas the Rotary Club of Lincoln Park, duly formed in 1949 and has served the community for 75 years, celebrates this long history of service in our community, serving many individuals and many groups who, with this dedication of Rotary, have made their lives and our lives richer. And now, therefore, I, Michael Higgins, Mayor of Lincoln Park, Michigan, do hereby proclaim May as Rotary Month in celebration of 75 years of service to this community and extend our deepest appreciation for all of their efforts in our community. We wish them each the best and all our support in moving forward with this grand tradition and applaud their purpose.
I am a member of Rotary. I'm a very proud member of Rotary. We've done a lot in Lincoln Park. We've sponsored a lot of things over the years. And most recently, we sponsored the mayor's address. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of Rotary. Okay. Now we're going to move down to the public hearing for the Dangerous Building Board. And if we could bring our building department man up.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight we have two public hearing requests. The first one in your records is 1456 Fort Park, and our request, by following all the code and ordinance of 144404, we are requesting a public hearing to review the demolition of the address of 1456 Fort Park. It was in a fire. It is unsafe to occupy, and our recommendation of the Dangerous Building and Code of Appeals Board is that we demolish it and bring it to the ground. So it is, be it therefore resolved that the cost of the demolition shall be assessed against the real property on which said structure is located. Such costs shall be reported to the city assessor and shall be placed on said lien. Any questions from council and mayor?
Through the chair, Your Honor. Oh, go ahead, Lila. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to know, are we taking the garage down as well?
Yes, that was the request of the Dangerous Building. That is not a request of the ownership, but the Dangerous Building Board recommended that in its condition, it should be removed as well.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Mayor, I believe this is a corner lot, correct?
It is.
So a new house can be put up after it's demolished?
It wouldn't matter. The requirement needs to be 40, and it is 46 and a half. So it would have a frontage space that would qualify a rebuild.
I know the house was built, I think, in 1920, so thank you very much, John.
Okay, I'm going to ask if there's any comments or anybody from the crowd that has any comments or objections about the demolition of this structure?
Yeah, my name is Rebecca Obi. I'm the owner of the property. But I requested for them to please leave the garage because the roofing, I just did it last year and it cost me a lot of money. So I want them to leave the garage. I don't know. Because my son died in the fire now. So I request for them to leave the garage.
We're so sorry for your loss.
Yes, so sorry. You're such a good family. John, the garage has been inspected, and you find it unsafe?
The building is aging, it is tilting, the roof would have to be redone, the siding would have to be repaired, and then straightening of any of the walls that might be there. So when you're going to do that, it'll be near the same price tag. Maybe the foundation they may not have to be replaced if they put it back. Maybe the footing on the foundation of the pad may not have to be put back. But to take care of the exterior, to bring it to city code, would be part of the requirement. And so our building board of 5, 2 builders and 3 tradespeople have also reviewed the building and brought it to that board as a recommendation to take it down. However, you do have the right to request that we take only the house down and hold the garage at bay.
Mayor, may I further this? Mr. Myers, you would say that because the order read fix, repair, or demolish, that if it was brought up to code, you would have no problem with the garage standing. It just there's insurance money and it needs to be brought to code, most likely.
Correct.
So the question is it's dangerous, you believe, and the board found in its present state, and you'd like the owner to bring it up to safety and safety standards and code, or tear it down?
That would be the answer, exclusive of the house.
Can I ask, do you have the financial means to repair the garage?
There's no problem with the garage.
You don't have a problem with
With the
repairing the
garage.
garage and getting it up to code?
The garage is okay. I just repaired the roofing last year. I just replaced the roofing last year. I just want them to demolish the house alone and leave the garage.
Well, there's a third option for Solomon, the wise man here, is you can order the building demolished and permit her to come back with a plan to show that they can save the garage and reconvene the hearing with that, or hold that in abeyance and come back and order. There's another means of addressing that, because the original focus was the house because of the fire. In inspecting it, the building superintendent and his department determined that the garage was also a dangerous structure and should be taken out at the same time. If they can establish that they can save it, that's the prerogative of the council. Give her the opportunity, or let Mr. Myers work with her, and if not, bring it back to council.
To the chair.
Yes.
Doesn't the insurance company make the determination on that as to whether or not it's savable or not?
No, they say it's repairable, but the people we call said it's better for them to tear it down than to just renovate it. It's better for us to tear the house down and rebuild it.
Do you have anything from the insurance company that
The
would?
insurance company has already paid me the money.
Councilman, I don't believe, because the garage, is that correct, was not part of the fire?
No.
So the garage is not included in the insurance settlement or the insurance company's decision. He's saying the garage itself is dangerous in its condition. There's 2 separate matters before the council here. So you can parse the 2 and order the house demolished. They seem to be in agreement, and give them a reasonable time to come with a plan or get the garage up to code, or you take further action like Mr. Myers always does here.
Would you agree if we gave you time to bring the garage completely up to code, complete cities to code?
How much time? That's a pretty determining factor in our decision with that.
John, what would normal time be?
Well, you can probably plan that to be at least 90 days after completion of demolition. So you've got time to get through demolition, you've got time to get that place in order, get all the disconnects, get all the DTEs, and then once it comes down, then when they're preparing to rebuild, then you have a decision it makes before they get a plan for a new house to go in. They should have a plan for the garage. So if you want to move it all the way out to the time that they want to put a house on that property, then you can. But what we cannot afford to do in our city ordinances is to leave the garage as a warehouse when there is no primary structure. or it doesn't become a workout center, or it doesn't become something else. So we have several other city properties like that that don't belong to the city, but they only have a garage and they've been left there. It was stated that they would be taking the house into that place, and in 2 or 3 years, the house has never been restored and put back on the ground after we've demoed it, but the garage stands there independent. And so my recommendation is, when the house comes down and they're planning to put it back up, then I have no problem, they comply with bringing the garage to code and bringing it up to standard. What we don't know is, once the house is down, when will there be a plan for putting a house back on the property where there's a freestanding garage and not a house and a primary use?
Can you give me a time on how long it will be for the house to be built?
We don't know yet. We just want to sell the land and the garage.
Yes. Can you please come to the mic so the people at home can hear you?
For us, it's mostly a question of, time for us to figure out what to do with the items within the garage. We're fine entirely with the house, the house being demoed and the garage being demoed, but where all the items and things that we had stored inside the garage, that's another question. And right now, we're still working on moving into another place, so.
How much time do you need? The city does not want to put any extra heart, problems with you, and we'll work with you. But if the garage needs to come down, just tell me how much time do you think you need?
I'd say about 4 months.
That would put us past destruction season. Can you do it in 2 months?
That's fine.
Would that be fine with you, John?
I will accept that, sir.
Okay. Then I will move forward on a motion.
No.
No?
Not yet.
Okay, we can't do it yet. Okay, we have to,
Continue the public hearing
Gotta
first.
gotta go to the public hearing, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come in to see him tomorrow to get this worked out with him, okay?
I'll give you my card.
Mr. Martin, your next one. Myers, Mr. Myers.
The next one is not written in, when I printed it off this afternoon, it does not have the correct address on this one, so it is my mistake, I
That's-
apologize.
That resolution is for later in the,
Yeah, it's right here. It's wrong in the later on.
All right, so the resolution is actually for the demolition of 1571
Goddard.
Goddard. And again, it went through the same timetable, and it is our request from the city council, as the resolution made by the policies in our code and ordinance of 1444.04, that the resolution is the cost of the demolition shall be assessed against the real property which is said structure is located. Such costs shall be reported to the city assessing and shall be replaced as said lien. Our request again at this point from the dangerous building is this property that had a fire on 1/12/24, and the inside has virtually been gutted and it is unlivable, and we're asking for it to be acknowledged before it stays a dangerous house for too long of a period of time. So it has been approved by our recommendation by the Dangerous Building Board on March hearing, and we're asking you to have a public hearing and support the resolution to bring this house down.
Are there any comments or objections to this demolition of this structure? Is there anybody in the audience would like to? Have you talked to the owners?
We have not. No one has arrived.
And Mayor, on behalf of the city, at the Dangerous Buildings Board, none appeared. Chief Prinz is here today, who could indicate the devastation of the fire. One individual had to be immediately taken to the hospital with burns all over his body. There was serious injury in the home for whatever caused the fire. If you drive down Goddard, you'll see it's near the Hamilton
Yeah.
School. It's in the middle of a residential block, and it's been unoccupied and no steps to make repairs. And I don't know if they've ditched the city, but the city served notice on the required parties of interest.
The reality of the fire, by the way, at the time of the fire and the fire chief's report, was the gas furnace had been closed and shut off, and they were trying to occupy and operate the house by heating electric space heaters in the building. Electrical shorts seemed to appear during the keeping of it warm through electric space heaters, and the house caught on fire, and by the time they were able to get in it, the heat of the inside of the brick framed house was pretty well torched.
Through the chair, Your Honor,
Yes.
if you don't mind. Mr. Myers, is this a buildable lot? I seen the house, it looks rather small, built 1951. Is it a buildable lot or would it be a lot split?
Right now, it is a 37-foot wide property.
So
Our ordinance right now establishes 40 feet.
So it'll probably be a lot split down the road, perhaps.
Council has other options when someone's interested in the parcel, Councilman. That's building smaller homes these days.
All right, that's all I want to know. Thank you very much.
Through the chair.
Lillian, I think got you.
Again, same question, Mr. Myers. Are we taking down the garage as
Yep.
well?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Maureen?
How long ago was the fire and since we've had any?
January, this fire took place on January 12th, 2024.
to the chair.
Yes.
I viewed the properties and there a lot of devastation in the property.
Yeah. In both cases, it's a sad story. Any other questions? And with that, we will adjourn the public hearing. And we will reconvene the council meeting. And resolve the following list under the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and council. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 22nd, 2024. Approve the minutes of the study session of May 6th, 2024. Approval of accounts payable. Solicit bids for a waterproof city hall basement. Reappointments to various commissions. Approval and renewal of the 2024 used auto dealer license. And schedule a public hearing commissioner for removals.
I'll move.
Support.
And you call for the vote?
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, so whereas the Dangerous Building and Code of Appeals Board issued an order to demolish the structure located at 1456 Fort Park, said order being issued subsequent to a hearing of the facts pertaining to this matter and identified as Dangerous Building Board number J230036, which was held on March 28, 2024, in accordance with Section 1444.04 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Lincoln Park. And whereas the Dangerous Building and Code of Appeals Board has filed a report of its findings and a copy of its order with this council and each party having a recorded interest in the subject property. And whereas the City Council has established the date of May 13, 2024 at 7 p.m., the date for a hearing to review the findings and order of said board, the owner and party of interest having been given the opportunity to show cause why said structure should not be demolished, and the council having duly held such hearing. Now therefore be it resolved that said order of the Dangerous Building and Code of Appeals Board to demolish and remove the structure located at 1456 Fort Park, Lincoln Park, Michigan, is hereby approved by the council of the City of Lincoln Park. And be it further resolved that the Director of Public Works is hereby directed to comply with the order of the board as approved by the council after 20 days from the date of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the Director of Public Works shall determine the date of demolition and shall notify each party of interest as required by Section 1444.10 of the Codified Ordinances. Be it further resolved that the cost of the demolition shall be assessed against the real property on which said structure is located. Such cost shall be reported to the city assessor, who shall place said lien.
I'll move.
I'll support. Any
Have
questions?
Discussion?
Yes.
Is this house, do we need an amendment that in 60 days the garage will be evaluated?
You can add that.
Would you be fine with, once the new home is that's what they're saying, once the new home is ready?
No,
No?
I believe they
And
said
then
after
when the
60
home is
days of the
demolished.
tear down, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be
Mr.
demolished
Meyer?
after
Okay.
60 days.
Just so it's in writing.
Okay, I'm sorry, through the chair. I'm confused because I thought we were giving him additional time to get the things out of the garage.
So that it can be,
Yes.
the
That's
garage
fine.
should not be demolished until 60 days have passed.
From the house demolishment.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what you guys were discussing,
Okay.
all right,
okay?
okay.
Yep.
So the mover and supporter are okay with adding that language into there?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
With that, I will call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilman Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
And Tobin.
Yes.
The next one. Whereas the Dangerous Building and Code Appeals Board issued an order to demolish a structure located at 1571 Goddard, said order being issued subsequent to a hearing of the facts pertaining to this matter and identified as DBB number J240001, which was held March 28, 2024, in accordance with Section 1444.04 of the Codified Ordinance of the City of Lincoln Park. And whereas the Dangerous Building and Code Appeals Board has filed a report of its findings and a copy of its order with this council and with each party having a recorded interest in the subject property. And whereas the City Council has established the date of May 13, 2024, the date for a hearing to review the findings and order of said board, the owner or party of interest having been given the opportunity to show cause why said structure should not be demolished, and the council having duly held such hearing. Now therefore be it resolved that said order of the Dangerous Building and Code of Appeals Board to demolish and remove the house and garage located at 1571 Goddard, Lincoln Park, Michigan, is hereby approved by the Council of the City of Lincoln Park. And be it further resolved that the Director of Public Works is hereby directed to comply with the order of the board as approved by the council after 20 days from the date of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the Director of Public Works shall determine the date of demolition and shall notify each party of interest as required by Section 1444.10 of the Codified Ordinances. And be it further resolved that the cost of the demolition shall be assessed against the real property on which said structure is located. Such cost shall be reported to the city assessor, who shall place said lien.
So move.
Support.
Any questions? Then we will call for the vote.
Councilperson Zoar?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes. With that, we'll ask the police chief to come up. And why I have you walking up here, I want to say a thank you to both the police and the fire department. There was a incident on Pagel on the 800 block, and the guys were there, very professional, very well done, very quick, and I just want to thank you from the neighborhood.
Absolutely. Thank you. I will pass on the thanks. I have three resolutions for you guys. Let's start off. First one, Police Department is requesting permission to send Lana Nessa to the Wayne County Regional Police Academy in Livonia. The academy session will be July 15th through November 8th. The cost of the academy was $6,813, with additional cost of $1,250 for uniforms and books. Funds will come from the Police Department's training account 101-305-960, and currently there's reimbursement through MCOL's Public Safety Academy Assistance Program. If you guys haven't met Lana, she's been a cadet since July. For those people who don't know what cadets are, she is a Swiss Army knife at the police department. She takes reports, criminal, civil. She works all facets of the department. She gets a little bit of experience in every little area of the department. So this is, we have one cadet and she's working out great. And the idea of having this cadet is to grow them into being an officer, and she wants to be with us. So with that, be it resolved, the mayor and council authorize the police department to send Lana to the Wayne County Regional Police Academy in Livonia. The session will be July 15th through November 4th. The cost is $6,813 plus additional $1,250. And be it resolved that the funds will come from the police department's training account 101-305-960 and be reimbursed by the MCOL's Public Safety Academy Assistance Program.
I'll move.
I'll support.
Any questions?
Through the chair.
Yes.
Chief, does this leave an opening for a cadet then?
we will be fully staffed, and hopefully we can get a cadet replaced for future openings.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll call for the vote.
Councilperson Zor,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you. Next one, Police Department is requesting Mayor and Council waive the formal bidding process to authorize and purchase 2 Panasonic Toughbook computers and 2 Brother Rugged Jet printers. The new computers and printers will be used in the 2 new patrol vehicles. The computers and printers we purchased from CDWG, who is a MyDeal supplier for the state, and they participate in the state bid pricing. The cost of the 2 computers are $77.68 and 56 cents, which includes shipping. The cost for the 2 Brother printers is $1,739.72. Funds will come out of the Police Department's computer equipment account 101-305-820. The Police Department, again, is requesting to waive the bid process and use CDWG as its supplier as they participate in the state bid pricing. For the resolution, whereas the Police Department is requesting to purchase the 2 Panasonic Toughbook computers and 2 Brother Rugged Jet printers, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council authorize the Police Department to waive the bidding process, purchase 2 Panasonic Toughbook computers, and for a total cost of $77.68.56, and 2 Brother Rugged Jet printers for a total cost of $1,739.72 from CDWG, a qualifying state bid pricing supplier. Be it further resolved, funds for the purchase of the 2 computers and 2 printers to come from the Police Department's computer equipment account 101-305-820.
Support.
Any questions?
Chief,
Yes, sir.
the computers are replacements, or is it an upgrade? I mean, is it an upgrade or is
It's
it?
an upgrade. We'll have 2 vehicles that will be
Right.
decommissioned. They have different older model. This is just newer technology, better product.
Thank you, sir.
And with that, we will call for the vote.
Councilpersons Tobin,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Zor,
Yes.
and Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you. And finally, the Police Department is requesting that Mayor and Council award the bid for the Police Department janitorial services contract to Dustbusters Cleaning Services LLC, as they are one of the lowest, best qualified bidders that meet all of the specifications and demands of the Police Department. The funds from these services will come from the city's janitorial service account 101-263-801. A little background on that: the Police Department's current janitorial contract is retiring and requested to end the contract on June 2nd of 2024. We've had this contractor pretty much since I've been at the department. The Police Department requested bids for janitorial services go out, and we received 11 bids. And again, Dustbusters Cleaning was one of the lowest bidders and had excellent reviews and recommendations from their current clients. Resolution, be it resolved that Dustbusters Cleaning Services LLC be awarded the bid for the Police Department and Community Policing Building janitorial services, as they are one of the lowest and best qualified bidders that meet all the Police Department specification. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute the contract documents. Funds from these services to come from the city's janitorial service account 101-263-801.
I'll move.
Support.
Chief, I noticed you said one of the lower best priced, not the lowest bid, and can you please explain why?
The bid specs were attached with this. As far as
I want the public to understand, so that,
our current contractor, $700 a week. This new one will be $7.25. I believe they had the lowest, or the second lowest, but their bio cleanings, the combination. At the police department, the jail specifically, we have biohazard cleanings, which come infrequent, no set number of times, but the total, I guess, the amount of the regular cleaning, the bios was the cheapest. And in references with this company, they currently do Woodhaven Police Department, Woodhaven City Hall, and the courthouse. We have lost officers to Woodhaven. We have gained officers from Woodhaven. And all of the references that they gave said they do a fabulous job.
Okay, thank you. I wanted the public to understand. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? All right, then we will call for a vote.
Councilpersons Bear,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Zor,
Yes.
and Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Due to technical difficulties, we skipped somebody. So we're going to go back up to the Memorial Day Parade. And if the city clerk will call.
I'll read it. Okay. Whereas the mayor and council believe the Memorial Day Parade to be an important event for the city of Lincoln Park and its residents, honoring the sacrifices made by many current and former residents of the city of Lincoln Park, and whereas the mayor and council wish to reduce the financial burden to the VFW Post 552 Parade Committee as they work to stage the 2024 Memorial Day Parade and allow money raised for the parade to be reinvested back into the parade. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council hereby waive the special event application fee and all cost recovery fees for those items listed in section 878.06E for the 2024 Memorial Day Parade. Special event to cease by 11 p.m. per Municipal Code 66604, and the applicant shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris associated with the event from surrounding properties.
So move.
Support.
I want to make it very public that I am the chairman of the Hands of the City, which puts on the parade, and we have other members on the council that are members of the Hands of the City. But in no way do any of us make any money on it, so we can vote on this. So with that, I will
Thank you
call
for that
the vote.
clarification.
Ready? Mayor Higgins,
Yes.
councilpersons Bear,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Zor,
Yes.
and Tobin.
Yes.
Now we can go back to your regularly study viewing.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you is the Parks and Recreation Department is awarding the bid for repainting of the bandshell stage area. City received bids for the repainting of the stage area. We received 6 bids. Would you like me to go through them for you?
If you could just give me the high and the low so that we understand.
Low was came in Z Painting at $9,500, and the high, I am not related to this company, Anderson Painting Store LLC at $40,000. After reviewing the bids, it was determined that Allied Building Services has met all the requirements and will be able to complete the work in a timely manner before the concert series start in June. Budget impact, the city's insurance company will be covering the costs minus our deductible. It is recommended that the mayor and council award the bid to Allied Building Services.
We'll have to make the motion.
Whereas the city of Lincoln Park has received the bids for repainting of the bandshell stage, and whereas the Allied Building Services has provided the lowest best bid, meeting the requirements, and will be able to complete the work before the 2024 concert series start. Therefore, be it resolved that Allied Building Services be awarded the bid to repaint the bandshell stage with a price not to exceed $17,670. with the mayor and city clerk to sign all documents.
So move.
Or,
Through the chair, Your Honor.
I think she had you.
Oh, go ahead.
bless you.
Bless you.
I'm just, when is Allied gonna start?
They gave me a timeline of sometime next week. They'll be able to start with a window of 6 to 14 days, barring any weather issues.
How long do they think that's gonna take for them to paint it?
About, they said between 6 days and 14 days, so.
Okay, it's just $3,300 more to get it painted in time. It just seems like a lot of money. Difference in cost between North Star and Allied. And North Star couldn't get it done any faster?
North Star wouldn't be able to start with, till the end of June.
And they couldn't do it within a week's time between shows?
No.
Okay, that's all I have.
To the chair.
Yes.
Z's Painting wouldn't have been able to do that right away, or?
They did not do a site visit, which was a requirement of the bid specs.
Thank you.
Yep.
Through the chair, was he printing their, or was he painting their from Farmington Hills, if I'm not mistaken? Do you know that?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes,
they
yes, they are.
have construction equipment, they've done high-end work in the past, so one of the requirements was they had to be on site to put a bid in?
They needed to come out, set a scheduled meeting with myself or the assistant director to come out to the site and view exactly what we wanted done.
Gotcha, because if I'm not mistaken, the shell has been painted at least 2 times in the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, there's an $8,000 difference just because they didn't come out. Did you request that they come out after they did the bid? Probably not?
No, I did not.
All right, that's all I have, Your Honor.
Well, no other questions? I will call for the bid. Call for the vote.
Mayor Higgins,
Yes.
Councilpersons Tobin,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
No.
and Zor.
No.
Okay, and since we do not have a CBDG director on hand, I'll ask the city manager to read the next one.
All right.
Whereas the city acquired 1453 Buckingham from the first right of refusal, and whereas the property needs to be cleared of vegetation before it can be renovated, and whereas the city solicited bids to remove all vegetation from around the house and backyard, therefore be it resolved that CQC Inc. be awarded the job to remove all vegetation for the price of not to exceed $1,295. Funds to come from account 249045721 HIP. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are authorized to sign all necessary documents.
I'll move.
Support.
Any questions?
To the chair.
Yes.
That has been done, correct, or no?
No, this is authorization to remove the vegetation.
Does the DPS, is there somebody there to inspect when they're doing it, or no?
The CDBG, they go out to the home quite often to check on it.
Thank you.
And John may be involved to some degree as well. I may be over speaking on that, but I believe so.
Any other questions? With that, I will call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Zor,
Yes.
and Mayor Higgins.
Yes. We have a miscellaneous?
Nope.
No?
Yet. Surplus city equipment.
Okay, this. My cheat numbers were not fallible this week, guys. Sorry. Be resolved that the mayor and council authorize the city of Lincoln Park DPS to auction off the 2024 Ford and Ford F-250 pickup truck M27 VIN number 1FTNF F2000345C79012, and the 2001 Ford 51C1 dump truck, VIN number 3FDXF7RX1MA53425, or to scrap out the vehicles if they are not sold.
I'll move.
Support. To the chair,
Yes.
just to clarify, that's a 2004 and not a 2024
Yes.
Ford 250.
2004. Okay, any questions? Then we will call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you, that was very easily done.
Yes. All right, now we have a miscellaneous? No?
Excuse me.
I'm telling you, somebody,
I don't remember now. I know just the ones that jumped big.
okay, well, all right,
Sorry.
thought you did.
Resolved that Timothy Rona, 1761 Ford Boulevard, be and is hereby appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term to expire on 5/1/2027.
So move.
Support.
Any questions? Then we will call for the vote.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
And Tobin.
Yes.
Awesome.
Resolved that the special permit 5 be approved for the 8-sided vendor show event to be held at the City of Lincoln Park Saturday, June 22nd, 2024, from noon to 5:30 p.m. at 4232 Fort Street under the following conditions. The applicant shall be responsible for cleanup and all debris associated with the event from the surrounding properties. Fees paid and insurance filed.
I'll move. Support. Question.
Yes.
I was curious, does this replace the May one that we approved
No.
last?
This
No,
is
it's the
another
second
one.
one.
To,
Okay,
to
thank you.
the chair.
Yes. You're allowed, I believe, 3?
There is no limit to
Okay,
them.
okay. I thought there was.
No
I,
ordinance.
There is
I know they postponed the one on Saturday because of the inclement weather forecast that was out the day before, and they have rescheduled to June 1st, is my personal knowledge.
Well, they will have to,
Don't have permission to do that.
they have to inform the clerk so that we
Okay.
know this is going on, and I'll connect with them. Okay. Any other questions? Then we will call for the vote.
Councilpersons Tobin?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Now the miscellaneous.
Now we can do the miscellaneous. And so everybody knows, I'm writing cheat notes down so I know where to go on my computer, and missed a couple. Resolved that the city manager, Lisa Griggs, be hereby appointed to the Economic Development Authority, term to expire on 5/1/2026.
I'll move.
Support.
I'd like to point out and let everybody know, while reading through the charter, we found that it is okay to have a city employee on this commission, and it is also recommended that the controller be a member of the EDC, which is Ms. Liz Griggs, and she has graciously agreed to do this. So, with that, I will call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
now
Lisa.
if the latest member of our EDC would like to speak?
I believe the first meeting that I'll attend is tomorrow, if I have my dates correct. I have a couple updates for you, Mayor and Council. Speaking of the rubbish contract that the mayor spoke of earlier, we do have that up on Minton now. And the bid opening for that will be June 12th at 10 a.m. So we look forward to opening those bids and hopefully providing a much better service for the residents in the future. I do also have a meeting scheduled with the superintendent of the schools this week. We're going to talk about maybe some different ways that the city and the school district can work together on some items. I know we already have one project in the works. Thanks to John, we are going to be bringing on some part-time, hopefully as long as the high school can coordinate it, some part-time staff members to help do some small labor jobs in the summer, primarily the hydrant, painting all of the hydrants in the city, or hopefully all of them, but a good majority of them. So we are working on that. And then there was some questions about the interviews for the CDBG director. So we do have those scheduled. We're still working on trying to get a few more scheduled in there, but we have a few confirmed so far. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was another position that we are now looking to fill is for parks maintenance. This is the gentleman that goes over and cleans the restrooms and opens and locks them at Council Point and Gregory Park. Mr. Tibbs has been with the city for quite a few years, more than I realized, so a total of about 14 years. He had a little break of service in there in between, but I have recently learned how much he actually does at those restrooms, so filling his shoes is going to be very hard. We are actively looking for that, but Mr. Tibbs has done a great job. John has always spoke highly of him, but I'm telling you, if you heard the stories that I've heard lately, you would commend him. If you see him, thank him. But he has decided to finally retire and move on to hopefully something more pleasant than cleaning our restrooms. So I wanted to make note of that. He's been with the city quite a few years and very dedicated. He is a part-time employee. You don't often get that kind of dedication with part-time employees, so it's been very valuable. So now we are looking to replace him. In the interim, we're making some other arrangements to have current staff members help out and keep the facilities open. There may be times, periodic times, if we don't have coverage, that one of the restrooms may not be unlocked at maybe right at the normal time that we're used to, but we are working on that and trying to keep them open as much as possible. And with that, if there's any questions from Mayor and Council, I'd be happy to answer.
To the chair.
Yes.
I'm sure we're all aware that their animal shelter had to have a emergency closure. Any update on that? And plus, any update on the construction of how the new animal shelter is coming
As far as the construction, the last update that I had on it was that they were working on getting approval on the HVAC system. I don't know where that's left off. Hopefully they've worked through that, so I don't have anything up to date this week as to where it's at. They were moving along through the process. The police chief can probably better speak on the current issue at the current animal shelter.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, good, you'll give a better update.
Be briefer now. Yeah, there's a kennel cough right now.
Yeah.
And it was down last week, down this week. The dogs are all being treated right now. We went through parvo back in March, so they're dealing with it and surviving.
And this is not uncommon for animal shelters to go through, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
And the second half of that question was about the new shelter. Can you give us any more of an update? when it's
I
gonna
didn't
happen?
make it there today. Sound like a broken record. It's close. It's getting close. It's been eight,
We
it's
hate
been 8 weeks.
giving hard timelines now because it changes.
It's been 8 weeks for a long time.
Yeah, and speaking of the HVAC system, that is one of the issues that's been worked through is the ventilation system. The new shelter will have a much better ventilation system to hopefully help with some of these illnesses that the
Mitigate.
animals
As
have.
well as isolation, there'll be
Right.
isolation for both dogs and cats, which would be huge for keeping stuff contained.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for our city manager?
Yes, through the chair, Your Honor. I did have three. One of them was the animal shelter, but I don't think I need you, Chief, so thank you. But the other one was, The park maintenance, is that a part-time gig or is that a union job or?
It is part-time.
So what do the hours consist of?
So they come in the morning and unlock the restrooms. There's cleaning involved, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. They have to restock everything, toilet paper, paper towels, those types of things. There usually is, from what I've heard, there's cleaning in the morning, usually.
Council Point Park and Gregory
And
Park?
Gregory Park, theirs is only when there's rentals.
All right, gotcha.
Yep. And then the evening, they'd go back, lock it up, and the additional cleaning and stocking.
All right, my last comment and question is, we have bids up for garbage removal, right? I know that I've been in the city for a long time, but we have no parking. I understand that's for street maintenance, right? Mr. Kazoo wants to do street sweeping or maintenance on the street, so there's no parking from 8:30 to 12:30 or 12:30 to 3:30. We all know that, right? We have one-way streets in Lincoln Park. We have no parking on one side of the street, and we have parking on both sides of the street. However, our current trash company comes at 7 in the morning till 7 at night. So I know from experience firsthand, but also hear from residents that they don't leave for work till 9 o'clock in the morning, but here comes the truck at 7 o'clock, but their sign says no parking from 12:30 to 3:30. So I don't know if that's why we don't have garbage pickups on some streets, but is there some way we can come together? Maybe we should have 3 different timetables where on garbage removal days, you can absolutely not have your car parked. So I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in on this, but if I have no parking from 12:30 to 3:30, but my garbage guy comes at 8 o'clock in the morning and my car is parked in the street and it's blocking the bin, what's our recourse for that? Is this why we're not getting garbage picked up in a timely basis, or? So this is my question. This is for all of council to please absorb what I'm saying and please chime in, because I'm not the only one experiencing this. I've heard this from other people in the past. So if this needs a closed session one day before we get a new trash company, do we need to evaluate different time schedules for trash pickup?
Well, the current vendor is aware of what times our city ordinance states for trash to be out in the morning and containers taken away at night. So they have that window to work within. The no parking is for,
City maintenance, I get.
right. And that doesn't mean that they're going to be down the street every single Tuesday on, that street that has that designated. There may be other things, maybe they don't do the street sweeping on that street specifically that day. However, the rubbish companies, they have a contract with us to pick up the rubbish. They were well aware of all of these schedules at the time, so that should not be the reason why they're not picking up trash.
Is in fact in the garbage contract that if their car is blocked and they can't use their big arm, they are to get out of the truck and empty the garbage. It is in their contract.
Yeah, that was a big item of discussion early on with the new company.
Yes.
Okay, so my final question, and I'll let it go. So once again, my no parking says 12:30 to 3:30, but my garbage pickup is coming at 7 a.m. All right? We got cars parked on the street. So I'm just saying, do we come to a compromise? Do we need to change the time schedule? Because I don't think GFL is adhering to the times that they're allotted. That's my whole point. And you just hit on it. They're not. And that's, I can tell you, citizens can come up here and contest to that. So do we need to expand on this garbage pickup, the times? Do we, have John have his maintenance from 12:30 to 3:30 and
Through the chair.
John, would you like to comment on
someone
this?
please chime in, help me, because this
Through
is
the chair.
this is a problem.
I mean, you know what I do? But I've got a longer frontage. I just put the cans on each end. And then if I have to park, I park in the middle. So that still allows the truck to pick up. And, they may come at 7, and I know that. That's why I do that. Or they may come at 7 at night.
Sure.
I know that. So that's why I do that.
And Miss Ross, there's parking on both sides of your street, isn't there?
Yeah,
And you
there
have
is.
neighbors that have cars. Well,
Yeah.
on certain streets in Lincoln Park, there's only parking on one side of the street, and I can't tell the neighbors you can't park in the street. So
No,
I
but-
understand your
But
concern.
try and be a little more
You would-
accommodating. If you
I've
can.
been putting my trash can in my driveway easement because of the fact that I have neighbors that park in the street because there's only parking on one street. So,
Yeah,
yes,
I've
I
done
hear you.
that. I've done that too.
Sure.
Yeah, I've had to do
Mr.
that.
Kazoo, go ahead.
Sorry. Because of the trucking industry, the labor, everybody's having this problem. I live in a neighboring community. My recycling was picked up tonight at 5:30, but that's not why I came up here to tell you. The community that I do live in, they've recognized that the issues with the garbage is not an easy issue to handle. And when your window is only this big, and maybe they're having problems because of snow getting in and out of Riverview Land Preserve, it makes it tough to meet those schedules. It happens. They do know what the contract says. I believe that they would probably be trying to honor it to the best of their ability, but it's difficult. But reason I actually came up here was these windows on our streets are very tight. They're very tight to meet these time schedules. The community I live in, for me, it's Monday morning, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if we did adjust our times here, because I've come up before the mayor and council before to try to get them to maybe make it an all-day event, it didn't go far because everybody thought that all the citizens would be put out too much. But I think the community needs to try to maybe make it an all-day event, and that would put an uproar in the community. But I wanted to pass that on. Thank you very much.
I appreciate your concern. I know when I left at 5:45 this afternoon, yard waste was not picked up and neither was recycling, and that was already 6 o'clock. So cars were already parked on the street, so that's why I brought up again. It's going to be an issue picking up cans unless mayor says they're going to get out of their car and move them. Well, I don't see that happen all the time. So I will let it go, but I think it's a legitimate concern. If we get a new trash company, let's make sure they adhere to the times that they're going to come down the street. That's all I'm trying to say. Because it's not happening on my block, and I know I can bring 30 people up here and tell you it's not happening on their time frame. So it is an issue, and that's all I have to say.
I do think you have an issue. I think that it is something that once we have a new trash company, we can discuss it with them and maybe come up with a better plan. But actually, like you said, those closings are not really meant for they weren't originally designed for the garbage. It was designed so that our city workers could fix, street maintenance, clean the street, do a tree climbing, do whatever they need to do, So that's what they were originally for.
And there'll be many, many questions, and I think it'll be a good idea to have a study session with council once we have the bidders narrowed down, so that some of these questions can be answered by council, and we can make sure everybody's on the same page.
And John is back.
I hate to come up and say anything more, but I'm going to. With the new trucks, everybody's aware of the self-lifting arm trucks. They've got to get right at that garbage can, which is placed, as we tell them, on the curb.
And how many do you see on the street, John?
Quite a few.
Thank you.
And also we have with the garbage now, they do pick up they come in 3 different trucks. So, so it even makes the time even more expanded because you got a garbage truck, then you got a recycle truck, and then you got a grass pickup. And then if there's a special pickup, there's another one. So.
And once again.
Mayor, may I add something here? I don't get paid by the word, but the neighboring community I represent finally bit the bullet and went to all day after spending 7-8 hours of meetings discussing 12 to 3, and everybody thought it was just trash pickup. And so far, the streets aren't full of blood, so it's worked. So it was the whole day ban, and sometimes when you have those issues, you got to bite the bullets.
But it is something we need to look at. At least have a conversation.
Thank you, Lisa. That's all I have. Thank you.
Can I make a comment, though?
Yes.
Ed.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, now I'm getting paid by the word.
I'm just curious, because I know that our issue here, and especially with like emergency, like snow emergencies and things like that where you can't park on the street, we have quite a few residents who don't have driveways. So how is that working out for that community? Do they have a lot of non-driveway
I'll
homes?
check with the court. I'm sure they give tickets out, but there's some reasonableness. They give permits to people to park if there's no driveway, but they were developed long after this community. They have broader fronts and broader driveways and side streets, and they've changed the parking, but they've re-engineered the parking structure too, where if it's gonna be on one street, no parking for street sweeping, then they alternate it with the trash pickup. So there, I mean, it's a long, tedious process, and you'll get more complaints about that than aliens landing in Memorial Park, so just be prepared. By the way, what concert is that at? We have the aliens?
Little Davy and the Diplomats?
So Mayor, I'll assist also with Mr. Kazoo. We can bring something to council. I will just caution you, if you have a hearing on that, you'll be here for the rest of the month.
Any other, if any?
To the chair,
Yes.
has the other, job been posted yet or no?
In the finance?
Building.
Or should be tomorrow. We were finalizing the job description and requirements.
Thank you.
Anything else for city manager? Then we will move on to our police chief.
Happy National Police Week this week. So, for the last quarter, we currently in the patrol division have 30 patrol officers. That's up from 9 officers last year. That's huge. Department is very young. 14 of those 30 have less than 3 years on. 4 of them are currently in FTO phases just out of the academy. During the past quarter, the road patrol took 6,680 calls for service. They handled 228 accidents, issued 2,319 violations. They made 397 arrests, issued 2,205 violations while working selective enforcement. That's addition to their patrol. There was 284 hours of training throughout the department. Our detective bureau currently consists of a detective lieutenant, a detective sergeant, 1 patrol detective, and 2 school resource officers. They investigated 284 complaints, closing 250 of them. The school resources officers handled 209 complaints. Our Special Operations Bureau, it consists of 1 detective sergeant, 2 patrol detectives. They investigated 57 complaints over last quarter, seized over $129,000 in cash for possible forfeiture. In addition to drug enforcement, they also take part in QRT, Quick Response Team. They partner with Cornell Health in the court, and they pay visits to homes of recent overdose victims. They provide information and services for that. So in addition to enforcement, they're helping, enforce a different way. Our traffic unit is filled with 1 sergeant. He is assigned this unit. He investigates traffic complaints throughout the city. When you guys are reaching out to me on a particular traffic thing, I put Sergeant Walther on it, and he deals with it. Over the last quarter, he issued 433 violations. Our animal control and parking enforcement, again, they were merged after code enforcement left. They consist of 2 officers. They investigated 1,160 complaints and issued 1,021 violations. We currently have 4 volunteer reserve police officers. They're vital for our department. They assist on details and events throughout the year. Our community policing, everybody knows Sergeant Nicholas. He does a fabulous job. He was new since July for this position. His job is to make a positive relationship with the community and our police department. Again, he does a great year. It's a position that he does events throughout the year. Some of the recent ones, he's doing blood drives, Meals on Wheels. He partners with schools, churches, local businesses. During March, the reading month, he read to over 50 classes throughout the school district here. And for April, which was Autism Acceptance Month, he designed a T-shirt and sold, I think, over 220 of those, which the proceeds will be going to Mixter for their school program. Inside the department, behind the scenes, we have Christina, my administrative assistant. She is vital to the success of our department. She keeps us all afloat. Our Records and Clerical Bureau, that consists of 3 full-time and 2 part-time employees. Sadly, last month we lost one of our workers. Currently have an opening for that. And next month, we're losing another one. She's retiring after, I think, 25 years, 28 years, something like that. Detention, we currently have 3 full-time detention officers, council-approved contract with them. We should have them for the next 2 years with 1-year extension if everything's going good. They're a great company. Animal shelter, we're working with 1 full-time employee right now, 3 part-time employees over the past quarter. We brought in 38 dogs, returned 17 to the owners, transferred out 3 of them, adopted 11. As of today, we have 12 dogs, and like I mentioned, had the kennel cough going on right now than parvo last month. Some things for operations. Currently, we're 1 officer down. You guys approved Lana to go to the police academy. That will be first time in a long time that we've been fully staffed. They'll be great. We had additions to the police department, renovations going on. Like the animal shelter, it's still going. It sounds like a broken record, but it's getting close, and that's phase 1 of a proposed 3-phase project. Shelter is close to completion. We have 2 patrol units on order that should be completed soon. In the next budget, in the next coming weeks, I will be requesting the permission to purchase body cameras and update our current car cameras and storage software. Sergeant Nicholas is working on creating a Citizens Patrol Academy coming up, and we're trying to restart our neighborhood watch and our community watch programs that we once had. In addition to patrolling our streets, answering the calls, and keeping our citizen staff officers, will make the parade, they'll make the summer concerts, all the city events that we do. They do a great job. They take pride in this. Tomorrow is the blood drive, 12 to 6 at the Memorial Center. That is my quarterly report. If anybody has anything, I'd
To
be
the
happy to
chair.
answer.
Yes. Chief, do you have, how many motor carrier division?
We have
2,
2
right?
officers that are certified.
And you have 1 on each shift, am I correct or no?
Different day shifts, yes. Then Sergeant Walther, our traffic sergeant, he's been enforced. He doesn't weigh them and stuff like that, but he's enforcing the trucks driving through the residentials right now.
And your 2 enforcement officers, what do they do? I mean, just rough. What are they enforcing versus what the building?
The commercial vehicle officers?
No, the other 2.
Animal and traffic.
Animal control, yes.
They do parking and animals.
Just that, or?
Yes.
To the chair.
Yes.
When you brought up the community officer, Sergeant Nichols, I just had a thought because we just had a study session on the Lincoln Park Social Development Coalition. Would you happen to know, has he have any awareness of this? Would he have been reached out to at
I
all?
saw Pastor Paula when we walked in. I know he works with her.
Okay. 'Cause it just seemed like that would be a natural connection that could
We've had
that could benefit
specifically
some of the goals.
Pastor Paula. We've had a good relationship with her for years.
Yeah.
That was more Sergeant Mueller's time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the chief? And again, I just thank you for your
Thank you all.
thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And before actually, we need to go to citizen communications. Is anybody up here?
Sit too long, you can't stand up. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Richard Kudrak. The no parking on my street is Wednesday between 12:30 and 3:30, and the garbage pickup is 8 o'clock in the morning. But you didn't even mention, there's 3 trucks come down your street. You got the garbage, you got the recycling, you got the yard waste. And they come at all times. Several years ago, when I had some new concrete laid in my driveway and I couldn't park in my driveway, Howard Street, which is my cross street, their no parking was 8:30 to 12:30, so I'd sneak around the corner to park there when I had to, and then park in front of my house when I was allowed to. So there's things you can do to mitigate getting, not having a driveway, or the police going to give you a parking ticket. So, yeah, but I just want to mention, it's 3 trucks come every day, folks, not one. Anyway, I was concerned, a question about that, where was I? The band shell painting. I sent you an email, 2 of the bids, low bids, there was a note there that did not have a site visit. Question number 1 is, if the bid spec requires a site visit and they don't do one, are they automatically disqualified from that bid? Who knows?
Yes, they were.
All right. If they do not do a site visit, let me back up. The requirement for site visit is part of the bid spec by their department head, right? And if the department head decides that, well, this company didn't do a site visit and ordinarily should be disqualified, do they have the authority to overrule that and let somebody sneak in and make a bid? Or do they have to go by the letter of the law which says, no site visit, you're out?
We rely on our department heads to give us advice.
Their discretion? Thank you so much.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak to this body? Do you want to speak? You're up.
Yeah. Thank you. My name is Jerry Valenti, and I live on Cleveland Avenue between Fort Street and Chandler. And I've been trying for probably 20 years to get the street fixed. And it just keeps on breaking off little by little chunks of the asphalt that was put over the cement. Okay, and it's just getting worse. And there's a reason why it gets worse, is because I don't know if you know what a turnaround is. Is everybody familiar what a turnaround is on Fort Street? All the streets used to go straight across when I was a teenager, but now there's turnarounds, okay? And I live on one of the turnarounds. Everyone who wants to go on Mill Street, Farnham Street, Champaign, and Progress, they don't want to wait for that light at Champaign, so they just go on the turnaround and come straight ahead and come down my street. There's constantly traffic on my street. I'm not special, but I just wonder who I speak to get this resolved. Someone to do an assessment on the street. I've tried that. I don't know if it was ever done.
We have assessments done regularly, and we have plans. The engineers come forward and give us advice on what streets to be done. I can't tell you exactly when your street is going to be. There is a list online. They can give you the best times we can tell you.
Okay, that's, because they did Mill Street last year, and, it didn't really need to be done. My street, they come down, and for some reason, right in front of my house, the street is really tore up bad. And you call and say, well, can you come and fill in the holes? They fill in the holes. Later on, it just turns into little gravel peas, and then there's nothing you can do with them. I back in my driveway and it sticks in the tires. It's made holes in the driveway. I'm not complaining about that. I just like to have something done. And everyone asks me, I tripped on that. Why don't you get that street fixed? I said, it's not up to me. It's up to the city. I said, I've tried, but no help so far.
I wish I had a better answer for you, but that's all I can tell you at this time.
Okay, if I go to DPW, could they maybe, because I called them several times, and the last time I called, I don't know who I spoke to, and he said, my boss is out now. When he comes back, I'll ask him to come down and look, but I don't know if anything ever happened.
John will be glad to meet with you after the meeting And if you want to speak and go into the hallway, he's the head of DPS.
I know, I spoke to John before, too.
Okay, give him your address, and maybe he can go back over there and look again and see if there's any kind of patching or anything that we can do.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, thank you.
all right. Thank you, John. Is there anybody else who would like to talk to this body?
When you say turn around, are you talking about a Michigan left?
Okay, before I turn this over to the city council, I did not mention something earlier today that was brought to my attention. The New York Times recently did a story on the drummer of the MC5 who has just recently passed. Grew up in Lincoln Park. The whole band came from Lincoln Park. And they did an amazing article in the New York Times talking about their childhood, talking about, you know, how happy they were that they grew up in a city like Lincoln Park and that they went to a great school system at Lincoln Park High School. And it just, you know, once a rail splitter, always a rail splitter. That's all I'm going to say about that. And now, with that, I'll leave it off to our council president.
It was also a rail splitter
Yes.
choice, but anyway, I'll make it brief. Once again, in regards to the parking, I just think if we educate the citizens, that would help too. Maybe, you know, when we get a new trash company, if we do, here's the rules, try to adhere to them. But when you got 18 teenagers on a block that all got their car license and they're all parking on the street, it does make it difficult. But anyway, I missed the grand opening at a brand liquidation, so I made a trip in there this past Saturday. I bought some items. It's right on 3918 Dix. I'm going to purchase a battery-operated lawnmower tomorrow, $150. So if you guys get a chance, stop in at Brand Liquidation. It's new. The owner was very nice. And that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Remember tomorrow is the Battle of the Badges. Go give your blood. I like a good battle between the badges, so make sure you go out there. Again, on May 22nd, the opening of the fitness court will be out there, and there'll be a little Battle of the Badges there between our fire department and our police department. So you're gonna wanna come out and see that, because I'm not gonna miss that one. I'll be there for sure. This Saturday, noon, at the Historical Museum will be the bell ringing, so come out for that. 4 o'clock, Calvary Lutheran Church will be celebrating their 100th anniversary. If you can, stop by there. They'll give you a tour of the church and a little history of it. Last Sunday, I was able to attend Skate Company's annual festival on ice, and it was wonderful. It's one of the better ice shows I've seen. It was just fantastic. It was really thrilling, and I'm really glad I had an opportunity to go. Brand Liquidations. I was at the grand opening. I've gone back there more times than I really want to admit. But they do have some really nice stuff. The owners are wonderful people, and they've got some really good deals. My son just moved back to Lincoln Park, and I'm kind of helping them furnish their house through Brand Liquidations. So if you get a chance, go on in there. And everybody have a nice week. Memorial Weekend's coming up. Enjoy yourselves and stay safe out there.
Brand Liquidation is the only store I've ever known that you can buy shoes, diapers, and cement mixers all in the same place.
And a bathtub if you need one. Yeah, they've got just about everything there. So, and it's Law Enforcement Week, so thank you guys for everything you do. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know we've all mentioned the Lincoln Park Police Department's blood drive, but I want you to know that walk-ins are accepted. Okay, so that's from 12 to 6 tomorrow at the band shell. And then join us on Saturday, May 18th at noon for the annual Memorial Day bell ringing ceremony on the museum lawn. That is to honor and remember those lost in service to our country and those dear to us in ringing of the old Goodell School bell. And if you've never been, it is really a very touching ceremony. You have to at least do it once, at least come once. And then just moving ahead a little bit, June the 29th from 8 to 1 is the Household Hazardous Waste Collection, Wayne County's at the Henry Ford College in Dearborn. And again, we do still have orange cards that allow you to dispose of hazardous waste if you don't want to do this massive collection. And then also on June the 29th, from 1 to 5, Wayne Health Mobile Unit, in partnership with the Lincoln Park Parks and Rec at the community center, are offering free health screenings. So they will do blood pressure checks, general health like diabetes, cholesterol, kidney function screenings, and no appointment is required. So that is from 1 to 5 at the community center on June the 29th. Just wanted to pass that along. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Bear.
Well, I just like to ask everyone to cross their fingers for good weather this coming weekend. It is a big weekend in Lincoln Park. Sunday is the annual Memorial Day Parade, and I'm also a member of the Hands of the City. So I am already crossing my own fingers and hoping a lot of residents will come on out. It's going to be a great parade and help us honor and pay tribute to those fallen warriors that have paid the ultimate price to keep us free. And I would also certainly second what Lillian said about the bell ringing ceremony at the Historical Museum. It is a very moving and poignant program that they have every year. And have a great week, everyone.
Mr. Zorder.
I just want to say thank you to the police department and the fire department for everything that you've been doing. Our neighborhood definitely appreciates everything you are doing. I also like to say that the engineers have been on site at Council Point Park every day, watching what's going on, making sure, answering questions from residents, even though they don't have to. But they're there and they're doing what they have to do. With that, I just want to say have a nice weekend, and that's it for me today.
Thank you. And just quick reminder, it's getting nice out, it's getting warm out. Kids are everywhere. Please drive safe. And with that, I will call for an adjournment.
Support. Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes.